Okay, so this video, I'm going to take you through an overview of Smartmark, which is a standards-based or learning outcome-based gradebook. So I'll go to smartmark.ca, log in. Alrighty, so on the right-hand side, we see some updates. Just if you're registered for the website, this will tell you if something's changed with the website. Okay, let's go into Toolbox. I'm just going to go straight to the gradebook part of it. I'm going to click on one of my Math 11 classes, but you can see here I have Math 11 classes, some Physics 12 classes, Science 10 class, Math 8 classes. So I'll just click on one of these. And here we can see my class list. You can't see student names, but if you could, you'd see that I can sort it by their first name or last name. And across the top here is all my learning objectives. These could be they could be content, skills, they could be competencies, they could be however you want to set your learning objectives or your learning outcomes. And then I'm also showing a percent grade, a letter grade, and a proficiency. And this is automatically calculated by the data that's put into the gradebook. You can scroll down and you can see the different, there's a full class here. I can actually change whether it's going to show these percent grades or whatnot. So I could go into Toolbox, Setup, Grading Setup. And that's the teacher view I'm looking at right now for it's a class from between 10 to 12. So if I tick off those boxes and I go back to the gradebook, choose that class again, and you can see it no longer shows those grades. And I can also set that up to show, like I can look at the grades as the teacher, but I can turn them off for the student. So if when the student logs into their gradebook, they will not see the grades. Okay, so back to the gradebook. So I guess what I have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 learning outcomes. And each outcome is rated on a scale of I think this one's beginning, developing, applying, and extending. I can also click on an individual student to see more data about that student. So there's 4 kind of sections we can look at. Their latest learning goal progress, which means for each learning outcome, it shows just what their latest score is. So this should match, pretty much should match what the gradebook would show on the other page. Classroom assessments. So this will tell you what how the student did on actually every particular assessment that was entered into the system. So these are all quizzes that I had in this class. Quiz 1, Radical Quiz 1, Radical Quiz 2. And it shows, like for the Radical Quiz 1, we had 1 learning objective, Radical 1. Radical Quiz 2, there was 2 learning objectives on that quiz. The student does very well, by the way. And it just kind of goes down through there. I can add some comments. So for instance, in their reflection, I've told the student they've included good specific details. I can also look to see if the student did any what I call student-initiated assessments. So this is classroom assessments are things I give the whole class, and student-initiated assessment is something a student would just retest on their own. So this particular student has not done that. And lastly, there's a section for the latest 4 assessments. So for each learning objective, I've shown the latest 4 assessments. Most of my learning objectives have only been quizzed or assessed twice, but I think there's at least one here that has at least 4 assessments. So let's take a look. So that one's been assessed twice, once, twice, 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 twice. This one's been assessed 3 times. So, so this is kind of handy if you have a learning outcome that you might be assessing like 4, 5, 6, 8 times throughout the course, then this will show you, it'll give you a little bar graph of the latest 4 for that learning outcome. I can go back to the classroom. I'll pick another student who I know who has done some retests. So if I go into student-initiated assessments summary for this student, you can see that this student's actually done 3 individual assessments on their own. So re-quizzes on these dates. So that's kind of generally what the gradebook looks like. Again, I have this estimated overall grade. I can get rid of that. I can show it. I change that in the course setup. So that's it for an overview of the gradebook and what it kind of looks like. Other tutorials you should look at are tutorials on setting up the gradebook, adding courses, classes, and students, and then adding learning objectives and assessments and how that all fits together. So check out those other videos in the playlist in the description below.